We checking back in, man, on Humble Soul. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already connected with us, man, and hit the like button if you enjoy the video. You know what I'm saying? It's greatly appreciated. Let's get into it, though. 100.
I came into this game wanting more paper than Russ. Def Com, Def Jam, Fat Farm, what? Now I'm with Tommy Hill, climbing on them jets. Teterboro, Harry Winston, diamonds on my neck.
Philly is the home to a lot of talented spitters, you know, a lot of talented artists, you know, from North to South Philly. There's no shortage of MCs, you know, and it's been that way for years. You know, Freck Billionaire, he emerged on the rap scene in the early 2000s. He proudly represented the city's west side, West Philly. You know, he wasn't like the traditional artist coming up during that time period in Philadelphia where he was battling different people. He actually wrote his first verse while he was behind bars. He never had the desire to be a rapper. He just did something to pass time. And once he was released, he ended up bumping into legendary producers, the Trackmasters, and spit the verse that he wrote while he was locked up. A couple of days later, they actually took him to an A&R meeting with Arista Records. And at the time, L.A. Reid was the executive, and he ended up spitting a verse for him, like 70 bars, and they signed him on the spot.
I'm in the hallway and shit, you know what I mean? I'm waiting and shit. So Tony Pope, nigga, I see the door crack and I see him in there. I see L.A. Reid, you know what I'm saying? I see Jermaine Dupri walking around. Then I see Pharrell, you know what I'm saying? All in this one meeting. Then I see a bunch of white dudes with suits. I walked in the office, you know what I mean? Everybody in there, you know, I go straight in, I smile, you know what I'm saying? As soon as I smile, everybody smile, got extra comfortable. You know what I mean? You know, I shake L.A. Reid's hand, you know what I'm saying? You know, he said, what's your name? You know, I'm like Freck Billionaire. He like, billionaire? I only know 2 billionaires. I said, you know 3 now, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, you know, next thing, you know what I mean? You know, he said, you know, Tony's like, you know, let him hear something, Freck. I'm like, let him hear something. You ain't telling him about me yet? He said, yeah, but you know what I mean? I just need you to convince him real fast, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I told him I normally don't do this for free, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm going to do this for y'all one time, you know what I mean? So y'all can pretty much, so we can wrap this shit up real fast. Pretty much get this done, you know what I mean? And I rap for about a minute and a half.
What's the verse you spit?
I told them niggas, I'll start off with the John just spit. Without further ado, America is Freck. I'm accepted everywhere like American Express. I keep my name on the plate so the popo can tell who it is in that spider on them Lopo Corrals. The F430 coupe on them Loco Latrells. I usually park it on Rodeo in front of Coco Chanel's. I got hoes that I let grow my mink with a comb. I only smoke exotic shit that stink when it's blown. The G4 is like a condo, you would think you was home. It fly at real fast rates, once you blink, I'm in Rome.
Signed him on the spot, man, and that changed his life. To a certain extent, he started collaborating with R&B groups like Black, and he appeared on a song with Tamia, who was hot at the time. His deal with Arista didn't end up working out, or was a deal with Trackmasters. You know, both of them went left, but he still kept pushing, connecting with Fabolous and getting down with the street fam movement. Dropped his mixtape Fistful of Dollars, hosted by DJ Clue. Then he dropped another mixtape, man, The Rich Young Report. That was hosted by Fab, so that was a good look for him. They were doing a lot of collaborations, a lot of work together. He appeared on a couple of Fab's major label albums, you know, as well as mixtape tracks.
If I get booked cause a nigga testified, same nigga might as well swallow pesticide. West Philly Freck, I'm a street family member, aka turquoise blue Lambie spinner.
It's a brotherhood, it's a family, you feel what I'm saying? It's a family, you feel what I'm saying? So my loyalty to them is not just based upon records and music, or how many albums we do or anything like that. My loyalty to them is that, you know, they accepted me, you know, all the way around the board as a brother. They fuck with me on all levels. Saying Fab has been nothing but a friend, big brother when I was in jail, looked out for me always, all the way through, you know what I mean? Fab ain't nothing but a platinum nigga. Every nigga around him, you know what I mean, you know, accepted me with open arms. So my loyalty is always the street fam is bigger than some music shit, you know what I'm saying?
But his talent, man, and his charisma, his personality ended up catching the ears and the eyes of Floyd Mayweather, you know, boxing icon Floyd Mayweather, who at the time was pushing his own record label, an independent rap label called Philthy Rich Records. Floyd and his homeboy P. Rilla, they ended up reaching out to Freck, man, seeing if he was interested in joining the label. He decided to fly out, man, connect with him. He relocated to Las Vegas and started recording music, building his brand through Filthy Rich Records.
This your man Floyd Money Mayweather coming to you live. We in the ATL right now. This is my man Freck Billionaire. He's the future of rap. You know, we spent big money to get him. And am I happy? Absolutely.
Yes, sir. He's just been like a big brother to me and just been doing everything that he can do for me. Teaching me a lot of things, man, above and beyond music, besides the money and all that other shit. You know what I mean? Just showing me so many priceless things that's going to take me to another level.
It didn't actually pan out successfully, and him and Floyd, you know, they fell out less than a year after Freck got down with Filthy Rich Records. You know, according to Freck, you know, Floyd, he didn't follow through on a business agreement they had chopped it up about. He said it came to a point where Floyd even started just straight ignoring him, avoiding his phone calls, not returning his calls, not returning his messages. So he eventually, you know, got tired of it and decided to move back to, you know, the East Coast from Las Vegas. But when he did it, he reportedly took a watch, a bust down Rolex, I believe, that he was gifted as a signing bonus when he joined the label. And you know, after he did that, they started reaching out to him to get the watch back.
Boom. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna tell this nigga, like, yo, I ain't with the situation no more. I contacted him, you know, I spoke to him. I'm like, yo, look, you know, I was out there based around my talent, you know what I mean? I'm cool. He was just like, you know, I had you out here, you know, trying to do something for you. Floyd was like, I'm already rich. I was like, cool, whatever. So boom, we hang up the phone, we leave it there. A day or two later, associate of his called my phone, like, you know, Champ said he want to get that jewelry back that he gave you since you decided not to f with him no more. I'm like, no, I'm not giving him nothing. Like, tell him to hit me. Boom. Maybe a couple minutes later, his phone, I get a call from his phone. I pick up, I'm like, hello. It wasn't him. It was an associate of his. Like, yo, I'm coming to the East Coast in a few days to get that jewelry for Champ. I'm like, no, tell him to call me. I ain't giving him nothing. Boom. He called me on the phone. You know, I speak to him. Blasey blah. I tell him, you know, what the situation is. He like, yo, you playing with me? I said, no, playing with you would be telling you one thing and doing another. I'm telling you, no, I'm not doing that. Like, you know, shit went crazy. I was out there for that time. You know, I consider this my payment. Like that. Boom. I ain't know how.
Town ain't big enough for the both of us. I keep having crazy thoughts, need a therapist. Why the fuck would he war with a terrorist? Stupid nigga. Try to get his watch back and pay 10 stacks. You throw one shot at me, I'm throwing 10 back.
You know, Floyd, he talked about the situation with Freck in a couple of interviews, saying that he found out that after he signed him, he was already in a deal with another label, but Freck had lied and said that wasn't the case before they joined forces, and that became an issue. Floyd ended up getting sued by a label that said Freck was their artist. They were seeking over $600,000. You know, they claimed that Floyd pretty much stole Freck from him, although he was still under contract with them. You know, in their 6-figure lawsuit, they claimed that, you know, they had spent more than $100,000 in studio time on Freck, as well as, you know, a lot of money on travel expenses, shooting videos, etc., man. But ultimately, the judge ruled pretty much in Floyd's favor. He didn't have to end up paying 6 figures. You know, he actually had to pay around $6,000, you know, and that was a cost associated with the label Just For You Entertainment. They had rented a boat for Freck to shoot for one of his videos, and they also paid for some lodging and some food, you know, stuff like that, man. Paid some money for him to record some songs. Floyd ended up talking about the situation with Freck stealing the watch, and he said that, you know, Freck was ducking and dodging him, man. They was looking for him, but he was nowhere to be found. But ultimately, that was that chapter, man. But that could have been a good look if things had worked out and Filthy Rich Records really would have took off. They never really had an artist that went mainstream like that, but Freck definitely had the potential. He was a good fit considering not only his talent, but, you know, the way he talked, you know, and his confidence, man, and his character, his charisma. It lined up perfectly with somebody like a Floyd Mayweather, man. So they could have been a good team for sure. But so that's what happened with that. He ended up relocating back to the East Coast, started back hustling. You know, at the time he was still linked to Fab, still working on music with them. So he was out there moving and shaking, man, although he was still keeping a foot in the streets.
And, you know, like I said, this rap shit fell in my lap. So, you know, I love doing it, but I love the creative part of it, coming up with the lines and doing that shit and being ignorant and coming up with the slickest shit. You know what I mean? It never was my dream to grow up to be no rapper or none of that. That never was my dream. You see what I'm saying? My life don't revolve around how many records I sell, if I get a record deal or anything like that. You know what I mean? I got so many different other hustles, so many other things I do, so many other priorities, family and all that. And on my priority list, rap is like number 5 or 6. So I do this shit when I get around to it. So many people like, yo, Freck, why you ain't come out yet? Or what's the label? What is it? When you find, no, it ain't them, nigga, it's me.
Back in early 2008, Freck Billionaire, he was out in Edgewater, New Jersey, trapping, getting money. He and another man ended up selling crack to an undercover narcotics detective who was with the Bergen County Narcotics Task Force. He ended up being arrested for that and held on a $150,000 bail. After they arrested Freck, they discovered that he had multiple fugitive warrants. He was also wanted in 2 different cities in Pennsylvania for a parole violation, failure to appear in court. He ended up being sentenced to prison time in New Jersey State Prison. Around this time, he had dedicated his life to Jesus Christ. He became a Christian, embarking on a new path in his life that was different from his previous lifestyle, man, which was heavily influenced and surrounded by the streets. And he ended up, doing around 2 years in prison. He got out in 2011, his footage online showing him being embraced by Paul Kane and others. Paul Kane, that's Fabolous' brother, another member of Street Fam. A couple years later, he decided to start a web series called Breaking the Cycle, where he shared his testimony about what led to him embracing Christianity. He was open about, his life in the streets, a skin disease he battled, ups and downs in the music game, all of that, man. But he really used the series to encourage people to embrace Christ, man.
What's the deal, y'all? I just wanted to get on here today and publicly thank God for all that he's done in my life, man. When I had my back to the wall financially, emotionally, physically, in all different ways, shapes, and forms, God came through for me. And the reason why I say this publicly is because, it might be somebody out there dealing with situations, got their back to the wall, don't know where to turn to. And I can guarantee you that if you put your faith in Jesus Christ and give him your situations, that he can make a way out of no way.
I'm on another level now. These other rappers can't compare thoughts. I used to have a fiend sniffing bags like dogs at the airports. But all that selling coke and flipping dope, nowadays I'm off it. I'm trying to get people saved and they thinking that I lost it.
Hey, listen up, right? I don't care how far you think you went in life in the wrong direction, with bad choices you made. You're never too far for God's grace to reach you.
Over the last few years, Freck really hasn't been too active in the music game, but regardless of that, he's still one of the the top tier lyricists to come out of Philadelphia. He had the bars, the look, the connects. He had the potential to be a superstar. It was just those multiple stints behind bars and him straddling the fence between rap and the streets. And just the fallouts and all of that pulled him in a different direction, man. But obviously he decided to dedicate his life to Christ and embark on a whole new journey, man, a positive way of life, a positive way of thinking, and in the process encourage other people to do the same, man. But shout out to Freck Billionaire, shout out to Philly, man. It's a lot of dope artists coming out of that city. Salute to everybody tuning in and rocking with AHumbleSoul, man. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit the button ASAP, man. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to hit the like button, drop a comment and all of that, man. Check out the merch. It's greatly appreciated. Until next time, I'ma holler at y'all though. 100.
The CBL, nigga. West Side. Look. Hey, look, I fuck thick bitches, I hit narrow broads. I keep a fortune on deck like tarot cards. I had a bad light skin, now she the past, y'all. She got too thirsty, that was the last straw. Look, it's West Philly Freck, bitch, I'm on the top floor. It's hard to find a match for me. Sock drawer, 911 turbo, that's the nicest Porsche. The bitches hope I pull through. Life support, I'm tied in with the guys that be purging. Bodies everywhere like they cosmetic surgeons. So if it's really drama, we ain't trying to discuss it. Something gonna happen to your child, that's a minor adjustment. Look, every second niggas wrecking, hope you got insurance. Chase you down with the judge like you got a warrant. Shots hit him head to toe, everything burn. I might circle, do him dirty, ringworm. I grip the pump up, tell him it's asthma. Made blood money, but I ain't selling my plasma.